Hey everybody, how you doing today? So I'm really pleased to have John Morey with me today. Really found him on Facebook and been following him for a while. And why don't I just have him introduce himself? John, thanks for being on today. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey man, thank you so much for inviting me. This is definitely an honor. A little bit about me. What I do is I'm definitely a full-time real estate investor, and my goal is to provide affordable housing. And that is actually it's a very underserved area in the real estate business. A lot of people like to do the fix and flip on the mid to high end.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I don't do fix and flip, but I do provide affordable housing that people that have skills, and it's from mid to low end. That is a general area that's actually all over the United States. And if you
Sure.
look around, you're not going to see affordable housing that is affordable.
Yep.
A lot of people, when they do a fix and flip, all of a sudden it's in a $250,000, $300,000, $400,000 range.
Yeah.
Well, not so many people can handle that.
Yeah.
We have millennials, we have the seniors, and we have everybody that is low income. And that's what I try to provide.
Yeah, I think that's really where we've seen our kinship is I focus on probably 70% of the media in my market, which means sub 200. And
Yes.
for the audience watching this, you're obviously focused in Alabama. So why don't you give us some numbers about what the median is? And then when you say you focus on affordable, just give us some ranges that you focus on.
Yeah, sure, I'll do that. Alabama is actually very unique.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, we are not like the LAs or the Miami. We're not that at all, not even close. In my area, I like to do in the secondary market.
Yep.
I do not play in the primary market. I just see there's a lot more money to be made in the secondary. And as long as my ARV is around $90,000, it works really great, because then I could buy those houses really low.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where actually the mid-range to low-income people like to play. That's
Yeah.
where they are. So I look at the ARV, make sure it's no more than $90,000. Then I just try to work my magic to try to buy as low as I can. And then I find the skilled people that they do not want to go see the bank. They like people like us that try to help them. So we give them an opportunity to own a home.
Very cool. So there's a couple things you pieced together there. You can answer this question in any order you want. I want to make sure, A, that people understand what you mean by secondary market. So give them an example of a city that would be prime versus secondary. I think that's important. And then I just want to make sure I heard the second part of your statement right. You are, in essence, owner financing these 90K ARV houses once you've bought, remodeled, and then sold to somebody with a job, I'm assuming. So walk through those in any order you'd like.
Sure. Okay, let's first talk about the secondary market. In my area, Huntsville, Madison, Alabama, those are the primary markets.
Perfect.
Because that's like the big city that everybody wants to go and live.
Yep.
On the outside of that, the outskirts, like Athens, Alabama, Decatur, Hartselle, Coleman, all those places that are on the outside, those are your secondary markets where the population is not huge. Like for example, in Decatur, Alabama, we're talking about 55,000 people.
Gotcha. And now, when just one more thing on this. So are you talking 60 minutes outside Huntsville, for example, 2 hours? How far is outside?
Maybe 20, 30 minutes.
Oh, okay. Very cool. All right.
Yeah. We're close. We're kind of small. We're not like a big metro area like Atlanta.
Got it.
Where there's millions, there's millions of people, so you have to go to the outside. We're still kind of small. The MSA for Huntsville is right around 400, 450, I think, something like that. So it's not super big, but still it's big enough to where, we have a lot of growth in our area. Okay. What was your second question on that is?
And then the second question, I wanted to make sure your business model, it sounds like you negotiate
the owner financing.
Yeah. And then you're getting out of this transaction, I'm guessing owner financing. Just give rough feel for the people watching this. I assume they have to put something down, and then there's some interest rate. And then are you financing for a short term, like you want a balloon in 5 years, or do you carry it for 30, or just give basic structure? You don't have to give the full.
So the basic structure is this. I will present the offer to the possible end buyer, and I'll give them a choice between 3 to 5 years. When are they going to pay me back with a balloon?
Okay, gotcha.
Right. So I'll help them get established. And lots of times people, they're handy. They're very good with the hands. So I don't renovate really anything. The last time I did a renovation was a year and a half ago. This one that I'm doing right now is small. I had to because, or else the back half of the house will fall off.
Yeah, you might want to renovate that. That's probably a good idea.
It's safe. See, I like to buy houses that might be super ugly.
Yeah,
but they're structurally sound. It has to be structurally sound so that it's safe, so anybody can do any cosmetic. Even though it might cost them $10,000 or less, but at least they'll go in there. They'll do their handy stuff, and bingo, there they go. And they're so happy because now I give them an option what to do with the house. It's not about what I want.
Right.
This is now their house. I always tell them, hey, this is now your house. You make it the way you want to, according to your needs. Have at it.
Right.
Oh, they love that.
They're the owner. Exactly.
They're the owner.
So that's very exciting. So again, let's just use rough numbers. So you're picking up a house that's an ugly house for, pick a number, 40 grand. You're looking at an ARV, like if it was perfect, of 90 grand. Then what you're doing is you're selling that somewhere in between that to somebody who's handy. Now I get why you say handy so often, because they're going to go in and over 3 to 5 years add that sweat equity, and then you exit in 3 to 5 years when they refi you out. So that makes perfect sense. Is that right?
Yeah. It's close. 40 is actually kind of on my high end.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I like it. You're cheap like me.
Oh yes. See, what I do is I like to find sellers that have houses that either been inherited, or is just been in the family for years. They don't want to do anything to it.
Yeah.
And it's just pretty much run down.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much run down.
And
we have a lot of those in our market. So the only struggle I have really is there's so many of them, but not enough sellers are responding.
I got
you. Yeah, they're just quiet.
Gotcha.
They'll still hold on to it for years.
Yeah, you gotta find that right time, right? And that's why you got to be consistent in this game.
I'm gonna give you an interesting story about that. Talking about the right time. One of my wholesalers that I'm training, he found this house and he showed it to me. I said, I know this house. He goes, oh my God, John knows this house. I'm in the weeds.
Right.
So I know this house, and I showed him the text that was done about maybe a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
I said, look, I made this offer to this seller. Yeah. He says, oh my God. So he told me honestly, he goes, John, are you gonna take this away from me? I go, no, man.
No, of course.
No. You work it.
Yeah.
And he's telling you, I know this house. Here's what, and we walked through. He goes, man, you definitely know this house. I go, I sure do. Yeah. So guess what? He got it under contract.
Nice.
And then I bought it from him.
There you go. And there's so many lessons in that, right? Knowing your market, being good to people, not scooping. I mean, there's so much that people watching this can learn from a guy like you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
So go ahead. I was going to say.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Finish up. Sorry. Please.
Yeah. There's no need to be greedy.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's great.
That's what I want to say. There's no need to be greedy.
Because again, this wholesaler you're training, you're working, he or she is going to be, bringing you deals for years to come. So always doing the right thing is a solid mark of a good person. So congratulations.
Thank you.
So you've sort of given us a picture of what's going on today, and so exciting. Even I'm learning stuff that I can go after. I like that secondary market. I like the ability to create 3 to 5 year chunks of money as your people refi you out. That's genius. Let's rewind the clock, if you can, to when you started in real estate investing. Can you paint that picture of where John was, maybe when your first or second deal? What were you doing? What did it feel like? What happened?
Okay, well, let me go back first when I really, really got started.
Okay.
Which is, back in the early 90s. And, I was a big follower of Bill Bronchick, which I still am.
Uh-huh.
And I failed miserably.
Okay.
And the biggest reason why I failed, actually 2 reasons. One, I didn't have a strong enough why. Second, I was not determined to succeed.
Okay.
So now let's fast forward to May 13, 2016. Okay. That was my big day. That's when I got fired.
Okay.
Yeah. They walked me out the door. So of course, I'm not going to go into details of all that, but I could just say that it's probably the feeling was probably mutual.
Right.
And, hey, they walked me out. Hey, sounds good to me. So I called my wife. Oh boy, can you imagine? Whew, that was not good. But then my friend, Jim Ingersoll. Jim Ingersoll is an awesome guy. I called him up, and here's what he told me. John, that's the best thing that's ever happened to you.
I love him.
Man. Can you imagine how powerful that is?
Yeah.
Then, of course, we discussed it. And really, the gist of it is when I was doing and I'm an engineer, as I was doing my engineering work, from 9 o'clock at night to 2 o'clock in the morning, that's when I did real estate. Right. You know, you can only do so much with that. That's mostly research and studying. You know, you're not out there and really wheeling and dealing.
Yep.
Well, that day that I got fired, I made 5 offers. Didn't get one.
Right.
But
you were in.
Yeah. I was in. So then after that, you know, I started just making offers, and crazy. Then I found one property. Yeah. We bought it for $8,000 and we put a nice rehab into it. But before we actually closed on that one, right across the street, there was a little orange sign. You can't even hardly see it. I just happened to look over. I said, that's vacant. So I called up that number. So we bought both of those properties. And those were my first rehabs right there.
That's awesome. So again, so much when you share your stories, there's stuff to unpack for our listeners, right? So first and foremost, you sort of talked about 2 different timings. You know, one back in, what was it, 2000? No, not in the 90s. You're like, didn't have a big enough why. Yeah, you did something, wasn't really feeling it, not having much success. And then, you know, they walk you out and you're like, okay, I'm in, right? The wife, you have the conversation with the wife. She's like, I can only imagine. She's like, you better make this work, honey, or go get another job.
Oh yeah. She's like this. Yes.
But then you call Jim, who's a great guy. I actually was interviewed by him, I think a month ago. And he goes, best thing that ever happened to you. And I think this is really important, especially if we recognize what is today, the December 3rd, 18. I believe by December 3rd, 19, the economy is going to be different, right? We will not have we won't have a 3% something unemployment. I believe that event that happened to you is going to start to happen to others going forward. But I think you need to start investing time now, get your research, get comfortable so you can start in 13 as you did. Would you say?
Oh yeah. And the thing is, most people think they're going to jump in and just be rich. Well, it doesn't work that way. I work my butt off. And on top of that, I educate myself. I spent a lot of money on education. Right. I wish you could see my library right over here. I have tons of books. My wife says, you bought another book? Yes, honey.
You see mine. Mine's right.
I see it. Yeah, we're almost the same. It's full. And, you know, when you educate yourself and then you put that into action. So you have to add the word action in there.
Agreed.
Just learning doesn't really get you much. By reading doesn't do that. You have to act also. And then yes, be around people that are very, very successful. And yes, if you can find a mentor, please do that. I've been lucky enough that even though I didn't have anybody really handhold me, I travel a lot and I've become good friends with a lot of people that became my mentors over the phone or just by meeting them.
Yeah.
So now I'm returning that favor that I am mentoring other people so that I want them to be successful because it is definitely a abundance mindset, not scarcity. That doesn't work. It has to be abundance. It's a team sport.
Yeah. Real estate is I say this all the time, it's a people business. Right. I made the mistake when I started thinking if I built the most sexy Excel spreadsheet that I would solve the Rubik's Cube and I would be wealthy. and that is, I mean, now it's foolish to say, but that's where I was 15 years ago, 16 years ago. It is definitely an abundance mentality. You have to always be acting that way. The glass is always half full and becoming fuller. And when you have that, people are attracted to you, right? Most of the deals I find come from my network, either wholesalers like you were mentioning earlier, other agents that I've worked with and done the right thing by. They say, hey, I have this, this ugly property, needs work, blah, blah, blah. Can you take it? My last 2 buyers backed out. Those are profitable, right? Unlike some wholesalers that spend, or wholesalers that send marketing and all of that, I actually don't do that, right? I do most of my buying still today out of the MLS and my personal network. So it's just a lot of ways to be successful in this business.
Oh yeah. And mine is mostly my network. The MLS is getting kind of thin.
Yeah.
Even though I am an agent, I just go in there just to look and I use it for my comps. That's pretty much it. But mostly it's really from my network and also my driving for dollars. So my friends, when they see my truck, they call it the creepy red truck.
The creepy red.
I am just creeping around the neighborhood and people wave at me. Hey, John, I say hi. So pretty much in the area of Decatur, they know who I am because they see me there all the time.
Yeah.
I like to be in the weeds because I just don't like to sit on my computer because the deals will not just come to me.
No, there's very few deals. You have to work. just do one more thing before we talk about your future. Hit on driving for dollars for more, because that's the one that I tell people when I'm out talking, because I invest in a market that's 2.5 hours away. So I can't
Nice.
really drive effectively driving for dollars. But now I'm ramping up other people and paying fees if they drive for dollars and tell them what I'm looking for. And, if they bring me deals, I either give them a check at closing or I make them part of my partnership when we sell it. So, I mean, just talk about driving for dollars, because I think that's the most underserved activity that real estate people can do. So talk about that in your experience.
Yeah. The thing is, because it's not glamorous.
Yeah. It's not sexy, right?
Yeah. No, it's not sexy at all. And that's why people, they say, oh man, that's too tedious.
Yeah.
I have a folder in my truck. In 1 hour, I could list 20 to 30, even more, sometimes 40 properties in 1 hour driving around.
There you go.
That's a lot of properties. All you have to do is just write down the address.
Yep.
And then get back home, sit on the computer, pull it up, unless you have an app like called Landglide. I have that. I click on that app, and it tells me who the owner is right there and then.
Yeah.
And there's others, and I'm sure there's other apps like that, but that's what I use. And I give that to my wholesalers. Hey, said, John, we love it,
Yeah.
So that's all you have to do. And then you send them letters.
Exactly.
That's it. And then of course, what I do too is just add a step further to that. When I write that little envelope, I actually put that in my database.
Yep,
that I sent that letter there. So now I'm creating labels.
Yeah, there you go. Of course.
Yeah. So now I'm creating my list.
Yeah.
So now I have that ugly house list that every now and then I'll just send one out to see what happens. Because if I don't get that mail back, that means they received it.
Oh, no question. Absolutely.
That's awesome. So that means, okay, it's just a matter of time now that the trickle effect.
Yeah, that was back to the earlier conversation. I mean, the average contact I've had with sellers that aren't out of the MLS is somewhere between 7 and 8 contacts before a deal
it takes a while.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's why you do what John's doing. You create the list, the folder, you create the file to print out the labels, but also track your pulse, and how often you're hitting them. It's a genius move. Great job.
Yeah. The best one that I've had one time is I received 5 phone calls. I closed on 3 of them.
Nice.
That's the best that I've had, and then lots of times when I have 4 or 5, I'll close at least 1.
That's spectacular, on your driving for dollars. Yeah, you just think about your business model and what that does for you. So I guess one more question. So when you look at a year, a 12-month period like 2018, what do you set up to complete? Is that 30? Is that 50? Is it what does a good year like 2018 look like for you?
See, at first in 2017, I was hoping to beat what I did in 16, which I did. I destroyed my 16 because I started in May, so I had a good year. Yeah, so I had a good year in 2017. Okay. In 2018, I said I'm gonna destroy 2017, and I already did last month.
Nice.
And we still have, and I have 3 closings coming up in 2 weeks.
That's great.
So, and the year's not over yet.
Oh, amen. I love your attitude. Always leaning forward, bringing action.
Oh, always, and I actually have 2 more deals waiting on this one guy that called me up tomorrow. He has a court date to get the property back, and then he's going to be quick claim deed back to him, and then he's going to sell it to me.
There you go.
So that's waiting on the wings tomorrow, December 4th. So I'm excited about that. So there's still stuff happening in the pipeline. Then I have 3 or 4 wholesalers that are working on their deals that they're just waiting to say, hey, John, are you ready?
Yeah.
I always say, yes, I am.
Yes, I am. I love that answer. Great. Yes, so now let's paint the vision. So fast forward, or pretend it's, I don't know, let's go out, 3 to 5 years. What is 3 to 5 years for you? Are you just doing the same thing over and over, better and better, bigger and bigger, or
no.
What happened?
But that's going to still be consistent, because that's a model that's working, and I'm going to run that down into the ground.
Yep.
Now, I talked to an investor today. I said I have a vein. That vein has to be fed.
Yes.
So I am going to look into doing private lending.
Okay.
I do want to do that. And then also going to look at having an apartment complexes built, because we have a $4.1 billion economic growth in Huntsville. So I'm pitching that now, and I'm trying to build a 250 to 300 unit apartment complex.
Nice.
It's pretty big. Actually right after this, I'm going to be talking to the city officials.
Okay.
That's where I'm going. So it's kind of like a big introduction. So eventually, multifamily is really the route that I want to go.
Okay.
And because that's more volume
Yep.
And then, not only just repositioning, I do like to build from the ground up.
Yeah.
I have a team for that. It's not for everybody. It's a lot riskier. However, the timing is right for our area.
Yeah.
We're going to have over 10,000 people showing up here in the next 3 to 5 years.
Yep.
Where are they going to go? See, so that's my route. So I'm looking at everything and also trying to do better on notes. I'm learning how to do notes a little bit better,
Nice.
increase more my non-taxable income.
Yep.
Which is the self-directed IRA stuff and everything. I also have an inherited IRA. So, I have all these things working at the same time. When you're a real estate investor, you have to watch all those avenues on how to generate more money for you in an easy manner.
Right. That's so awesome. And again, sort of unpacking all of that for the listeners watching this. Here's John, a gentleman who's already clearly successful, clearly experienced, and he's always looking to grow and hence reading more books and meeting more people. He has bigger visions, going to multifamily, ground up, 250 unit apartment, 300 years, talking to city officials. This all is stuff you can do when you take action and you get moving.
Yes.
That's heartwarming, and I can't wait to see what you do and you get accomplished. It's going to be fun to watch.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, my big goal is my family.
Yeah, of course.
I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for them. I probably would have been stuck in an engineering job, very unhappy. Yes, I was making $140,000 a year back in May 2016.
Yeah.
But you know what? I wasn't happy at all.
Yeah.
You're
now, clearly happy.
Oh man, I'm ecstatic. Once I see a person says, John, I want that house, I could do wonders to it. Boy. Of course, it's good for me financially, but it's also good for them financially.
Yeah.
And they're happy. Once I see that they're happy, honestly, I get invited to these houses once they fix it up themselves.
Yeah.
They're so proud. John, check it out.
Right.
Check it out. Man, how can you put money on that? Come on. Let's be real. How can you put money on that?
That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, this has been a lot of fun, very entertaining. I want to give you a chance to sort of close with either your takeaways or where people can find you, anything that can help you going forward. Go ahead, and the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you, sir. Okay, so if you want to get a hold of me, I'm John Morey. It's 256-469-3099. Or, just look me up on Facebook, John Morey, and you can find me. That's really not really that hard. And here's what I want to give you listeners out there. First, find your why. Most people don't even talk about that, but really, your why should be so strong that failure is not an option. I preach that all the time.
Yeah.
Your why should be so strong that failure is not an option. Then once you find that, now be determined to succeed.
That's awesome.
You have to be, or else you won't succeed.
Yeah. Very, very cool, John. This has been a lot of fun. I learned a lot. I'm excited about seeing where you go with this. I appreciate you taking about 20 minutes with us today. And with that, we'll say goodbye. Just hold on. Let me stop the recording and we'll catch up.
Thank you.